loud. I don't. Alan Wake is a game, a horror game, but it's not the same type of horror game per se. It's not the same type of horror game per se. It's more on the American side. It's more like the Asian.
Stephen King once wrote that nightmares exist outside of logic, and there's little fun to be had in explanations. They're antithetical to the poetry of fear. In a horror story, the victim keeps asking why, but there can be no explanation, and there shouldn't be one. The unanswered mystery is what stays with us the longest, and it's what we'll remember in the end. My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer.
Well, they did not spend any time with that intro much.
I've always had a vivid imagination, but this dream unsettled me. It was wild and dark and weird, even by my standards. So yes, it began with a dream. Following a typical nightmare pattern, I was late, desperately trying to reach my destination, a lighthouse. For some urgent reason, I couldn't remember. I'd been driving too fast down a coastal road to get there. I'd seen the hitchhiker too late.
That boy, he's not
He was dead.
into healthy, man.
I was convinced they'd put me in jail and I would never see Alice again.
2 hours and 2 hours left before international time. So, yeah, it's gonna be 2 hours stream. Oh, next week, he's not. It's like he was like scared of someone.
Suddenly, his body was gone.
Okay. You didn't need to tell
I
us
was in
that.
shock from the crash. I could hardly stay on my feet.
Okay, so what do we do? I don't like this thing. Dude, look at how bad this thing. Is there a way to... Crap. Errands are running.
I had to go to the lighthouse. I knew there was something important waiting for me there.
Wait, why didn't you take the car? Oh. Oh crap. I got scared. Oh crap.
You don't even recognize me, do you, Ryder? You think you're God? Ugh. You think you can just make up stuff? Play with people's lives and kill them when you think it adds to the drama? You're in this story now, and
I'm good for Come on, There.
you missed your deadline! Damn. You can't stop me!
He's not doing
I realized that the hitchhiker was a character from the story I'd been working on.
How does it feel to die by the hands of your own creation? to lose! Oh no! Stop! No! Damn it, die! No! No! No!
Okay, so there's no door in this game.
I was trapped. There was no way out.
I no. Cool. What is this? Why is
Damn.
How do I get out? How? How do I get out?
Follow the light.
That's how I get out. Okay.
You are hurt. You should go into the light. You are only safe there.
Oh, okay. So I'm only safe by light. Oh, okay.
Well done. I have something important to tell you. It goes like this. For he did not know that beyond the lake he called home lies a deeper, darker ocean green, where waves are both wilder and more serene. To its ports I've been. To its ports I've been. Do you understand? No. Follow my light. I entered your dream to teach you. The darkness is dangerous. It's sleeping now. When it feels you coming, it will wake up. There's no time. I can only show you the most important thing. The hitchhiker has been taken over by the dark presence. You can't hurt him now. The darkness protects him from all harm. Only light can drive the darkness away and make him vulnerable again. Here, take the light. Turn your flashlight toward him and burn the darkness away. You did it. Now the darkness no longer protects him, but it's still inside, controlling him. He can't be saved. He's still a threat. He is still your enemy. Here, take the gun.
Okay, sir. Don't you think this is a bit...
Pick up the revolver.
Now you'll die.
Good. You've done well. Remember what I've taught you. That is all. I will give you back your dream now.
Wait.
In the nightmare, a terrible darkness was taking over the world.
He's...
The lighthouse was the
Okay, hold on. So, basically what he's trying to say is, go kill off the guy that you killed. And try to make it to that lighthouse.
a safe place on Earth.
He basically taught me how to kill someone. And burn.
You made me this way, and now I'm gonna kill you.
Damn, bitch. I played CSGO and I was silver on teabag. Sucks.
This isn't weak.
Oh yeah. Epic. Mess with an epic gamer, you mess with
Keep this up forever!
So what I'm getting is that everything I said was a lie. It's not a creepypasta story for something. Hey, there's life. Don't break the rules. Okay, I was creepy.
Alan, wake up.
Nope, I'm good.
Shh, baby. Just another nightmare. Everything's fine. You dozed off.
Right. Anything more than dozed off would be news for everyone.
Cheer up, handsome. We're here.
The lip syncing in this game sucks. It's like I'm listening to some retard. The voice acting is a little bit gay. Okay. That wasn't me, by the way, that was my stream. It's pretty fun. Opening, ending, open, and open.
Let's act like we're on vacation. Go stand next to that old gentleman there. I want a shot of you with the town in the background.
Okay.
Sure. I'll even give you a title for the shot. A city boy, moments before he got eaten by a bear. Hi.
Hello there. You picked a good time to visit our town. Deerfest is just 2 weeks away.
Deerfest, huh? Did you hear that, honey?
You have a lovely wife. If you don't mind me saying.
You have
I'm
a
Pat Maine, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm Alan Wake.
I won't pretend I don't recognize a famous writer such as yourself, Mr. Wake. A pleasure. I'm an avid reader myself. I hope this isn't too presumptuous of me, but I'm the night host at the local radio station. Any chance I could get an interview?
Look, Mr. Maine, I'm on vacation. In fact, I'd appreciate it if we could keep my being here just between the two of us. I'm sure you understand.
Fair enough.
Fangirls.
You can trust me to be discreet. Not a hard man to track down if you change your mind, though. I hope you two have a lovely holiday.
Okay, that first set of dialogue with him saying, I have a you have a so fake. I'm a game critic. Hey,
Very nice.
Shut up.
I got a couple
Sad.
of really good ones.
Sad.
And I see
Hold
you
on.
made a friend.
Shut up.
That's cute.
Right. Yeah?
Hey, bestseller, how's my favorite writer? Are you there yet?
Barry. Yeah, we just got here.
Are the locals giving you trouble? Just say the word and I'll hop on a plane and come make sure that you're left alone, Al.
No, Barry, we're fine.
Great, great. Just want to make sure you can relax and recharge. So, how is the place? Has it gotten your creative juices flowing?
Barry, we're just settling in.
Okay, Al. I'll call back later to make sure you're doing okay. And you
I have
call
an
me if
idea
there's a
for
problem,
this
okay? Okay.
Story
Just looking out for you,
about
buddy.
God.
Talk to you later.
I love you too, Barry.
Dreams. And
You
then
know he's going to be calling you every 5 minutes.
Barry is Barry. I can always turn off the phone.
the
What did I
light
tell you?
sleeping.
Text message from Barry. He says hi to you too.
That's my news.
Alan, we're here. Come on, let's get back to the car.
Sure. Oh, there's no driving
We
mechanism.
need to stop at the
Oh,
local
it's
diner
driving.
to get the cabin key from the landlord, a Mr. Carl
someone
Stuckey. He's waiting for us. I'll go fill her up while you get the key. I'll pick you up here in, say, 15 minutes?
So you're gonna buy a couple snacks?
Alan, thank you for coming here with me.
I love you too. Go on. I'll promise to behave.
Sit. As I walked into that car.
I'd forgotten there were still places like this. Towns where everybody knew everybody.
Welcome to the Oh Dear Diner.
Hi, I was wondering if you could help me. I'm looking for...
Mr. Wake. Alan Wake. Oh, God. I am your biggest fan. I know people say that all the time, but I really am.
I'm glad to hear that.
Rose.
Rose, I'm looking for Mr. Stuckey. Carl Stuckey?
Carl? Oh, of course, Mr. Wake. He must have gone to visit the restroom.
This looks like
He'll
a
be back in a
Gmod
moment.
animation. What
I
the
can't believe it. I've got all of your books. I got the cutout from the bookstore when they took it out of the window.
And you keep it here. Well, okay. Good for you.
What a jerk.
Try the coffee.
Do me a
Just don't-
favor, Sonny. I could really use a tune right now. Coconut, number 6 in the jukebox. I'd do it myself, but both of my legs have gone to sleep. Bad circulation.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Don't go in there, young man. You can hurt yourself in the dark.
I think I can handle it, ma'am. I didn't want to wait. I wanted to find Stuckey, to get the key and get out as soon as possible. The waitress was giving me a headache. Overeager fans always did.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, scene's over.
Hello? Mr. Stuckey?
Are you stucky on the toilet? Oh, crap.
Carl
Okay.
couldn't make it. Unfortunately, he was taken ill. But I have the key for you and instructions on how to get to the lake.
Okay.
Make sure you're
I
able
wish
to
you a
fish
good
by
stay
the
in
time
my
of night,
cabin.
and make sure
I'll
you're
come
able to
by
make
later
it
to check how you've settled in
time daylight comes.
and to meet your
Oh,
wife.
yes.
I insist.
Okay, crap.
Thanks.
This face looks like I'm gonna go see. See?
Cauldron Lake is a special place. Very inspiring. You got lucky this time, young man. You can hurt yourself in the dark.
Thank you.
This really ought to be fixed. And then I must remind Sarah to change the lights at the station. It's been too long already.
Even that sounds better than your singing.
Are you all right?
The Andersons, they're, local musicians. We're waiting for Dr. Hartman to come pick them up. They wandered off from his clinic at the Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Yeah,
Bye, Mr. Wake.
I did not need to know that.
Mission accomplished. The key and the directions.
Because
My hero.
I don't.
I got some
Need it.
flashlights, just in case.
Oh wow.
Hey, wait! Mrs. Wake! Your keys!
What happened? Why'd you take so long? Were you stucky on the
That diner was a
I
real
already
nut
said
house.
it wasn't funny first, now it's not funny either. So could you
Can you believe this place? This
Eh?
would make a wonderful setting for a book.
We're supposed to be on vacation, Alice. I'll figure it out when we get back home.
stupid
Okay.
wife
Okay.
keeps force crap. Okay.
Wow.
Keeps making
It's
me
gorgeous,
read a
Alan.
book
It's something,
of
all right.
a retard.
Don't worry, honey. I'll get you inside safe and sound before it gets dark.
Okay.
And I've got the flashlight.
I know.
I shall go
I'm
inside
okay.
by the time it's dark.
Alice had a phobia. The fear of darkness. I wanted to make sure we were
That's
inside
not
with
a
the lights
very-
on before sunset.
Unorthodox phobia. I have a big fear of darkness. Well, not because I'm scared of the dark as ghosts, but because you don't know what's out there, and you might get wrecked really hard by it. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold on. Hold on. God dang. Heckin' Mount Everest, Chiliad, whatever I'm saying, minute. This looks a lot like a cabin. No, it doesn't. Okay.
Here we go. Let's take a look inside.
That was so painful. What the hell was that?
It's dark in there. We need lights. Can you figure out how to get the power on, honey?
Oh crap, I'm using up the battery. Okay.
Hello? Anyone here?
So we all know that lights are power switches.
The Deerfest guests have already started to arrive. Just ran into one on the ferry. Famous artist, no less.
The power
Oh my
cable goes to
God.
that shed over there.
Now let's go to the...
It was the same guy. I asked him not to say my identity, and he did.
For a moment, the oppressive feel of the nightmare I had seen on the ferry returned. Damn.
That freaked me out, actually. That actually legitimately scared me.
I
I'm
needed to
afraid
get the
of old
power
women.
running in the cabin. There had to be a fuse box or a generator
Yeah,
somewhere on
where's
the
it?
island. The cabin looked like a time capsule from the 60s, or even earlier.
Old women scare me. They're freaky as hell.
There's probably a fuse box or a generator in the shed.
Yeah, I knew that. Where's the entrance? Oh, there's the entrance. Okay, there's the entrance.
An old generator had been connected to the power cable.
Oh, these are gonna be the quick time events? Crap.
The lights are on! Good work, honey. I'll freshen up a bit and start settling in.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll look around a bit. The island
Sure
had
thing.
once been the
Have
site for
fun.
a love story. Maybe it would be that.
I'll freshen up a bit. Ooh.
It was a beautiful place. I told myself I could rest here, sleep here, and forget about my work.
And play here. Play video games. Play Dota.
I thought we could be happy here.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry. Walks into the room with a flashlight. Where's the darkness? And we shall rid every single piece of darkness.
Alice? Honey?
Alan, I'm upstairs. I have a surprise for you.
She wearing pajamas or something?
Well,
Hello.
hello there.
I'm not the surprise. It's in the study. Go take a look.
Okay.
Swear to God, if it's a typewriter, it's a typewriter.
Surprise!
Never seen this game, by the way.
What is this?
I guess I have a
Sorry, hold on.
Small confession to make. I thought maybe you could write here that a change of scenery would get you past...
Damn it, Alice, everyone
Hey, just hear me out. There's a local doctor, Dr. Hartman. I read a book of his. He has a private clinic here. He specializes in helping artists. Maybe...
So now you want to get me committed?
No, it's not like that. That's not...
Oh,
Alan? Alan?
Just don't! I don't want to hear it! God damn it, Alice! God damn it! I knew she wouldn't follow me in the dark. I needed some time alone to think things through.
I wouldn't follow anybody in the dark. Unless it's not dark. Yeah, I'm not ashamed.
Damn it.
Dang it. Back at it again with the god dang thing. Looks like he's smiling.
Alice? Alice? Alice!
Alice!
The cabin had gone dark. All the lights were out.
Alan! Where are you? Help!
Alice, I'm coming! It's all right, I'm coming!
What the hell?
Help me!
She's got extreme cases of munchies.
Alice? Alice?
She has the extreme case of the munchies.
Oh no!
Oh no! Just dies because of the pressure. Like, yeah.
Keep going, Alan. Wake up.
Alice?
Keep going. You failed to bring the supper last night.
Waking up in the crashed car felt like I had woken from one nightmare and entered another. I couldn't remember how I got there. All I knew was that something terrible had happened to Alice. The phone was dead.
Holy crap.
I'd have to find help on foot.
I can. Dang it. Of course. I'm not bad at that. Is there a way down here, or did I just accidentally kill myself? Yes, I did accidentally kill myself. Okay, that's embarrassing. Oh crap! Lightning. Oh crap!
The gas station was my best bet. They'd have a phone I could use. It looked like a long hike through the forest to get there.
That's not that far. That's far.
Damn.
My hot eye. I'm not good at cars.
Hello?
Hello, light. Oh god. Ah, stop. It's too bright. I don't want to die yet.
Hello? Someone
It's
there?
raining. Ooh, writing. I don't like writing anymore, but I hate writing.
The loose sheets of paper were pages from a manuscript entitled Departure. That was
Sorry, hold on. Last adjustments.
the name I planned to use for the next novel I had never gotten started. I was named the author. I hadn't written it. I couldn't remember writing it. In the scene on the page, the hero was attacked by an axe murderer in the woods at night.
Holy crap. F5, more like F9. Okay, I'm good. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go.
Anybody there? Please, I've been in an accident.
Game, don't you dare start with me. I'm scared.
The lights up ahead were a good sign. Maybe I wouldn't have to hike all the way down to the gas station to find a phone.
Time for some hardcore mess.
Anybody there?
Oh, no,
Please,
don't tell me
I've
this
been
is
in
okay.
a... Hey! Hey, you!
Phil!
There's been an accident. I need help.
Listen, I need to...
Premium cabins for rent in
Nightfall!
Oh, hell.
Carl Stuckey.
That's
you.
That's perfect.
Non-refundable reservation
Deposit required. Fair and square. And
Where?
Carl Stuckey.
The Taken stood before me. It was impossible to focus on it, as if it stood in a blind spot caused by a brain tumor and eye disease. It was bleeding shadows like ink underwater, like a cloud of blood from a shark bite. I was terrified. I squeezed the flashlight like my life depended on it, willing it to stop coming any closer. Suddenly something gave, and the light seemed to shine brighter.
Okay, that was actual fear. I actually got scared.
Right, balls!
That reaction was legit.
You lose!
Shit!
Deposit. It's the last.
I legit got...
I had to figure a way out of this. Any second now, and Stucky would be knocking on the door with his axe like Nicholson in The Shining.
Terrible rules. Okay. If he says, here's Johnny, I'm fine to die.
During your recommend trying walking. It's the latest thing. Incontestably proven.
Sheriff Station.
Hello? Hello?
That's convenient.
You can see the sights and keep those cholesterol levels low.
Oh,
I'd never fired a gun outside a shooting range, and now I just killed someone. Or something. There were no bodies. They just disappeared. If I was dreaming, it felt real enough to make me sick. The Dark Forest was the last place I wanted to go, but I had no choice. I had to get to the gas station.
It's rabbit season.
I'm slowly running out of these bullets. I should consider. I was able to get a headshot. I don't know if I can make good of that.
What the hell was that?
Please. I was kidding. I'm actually legit scared. I'm sorry for letting you
When I saw the river below, something uncoiled itself inside my head. I realized that I'd have to find a way across. I didn't even want to look at the water.
I didn't even want to look at the water. I was scared. I was so scared.
That's where I go. I want something special to eat.
Stucky was still out there, in the dark, stalking me.
Occupation.
Are you serious? I just wanna go to life, man. I take back everything I said. Am I gonna do what I think I have to? Oh, okay. That was edible. Nice. Not class.
Taken. They're taken.
I don't like this. It's great.
Eerie hand-painted graffiti was revealed by my flashlight. Someone had hidden a chest of supplies near it.
Let's get batteries. I was trying to make a joke. Is there anything in there? Stuff. Do I have to shoot that? God. Oh, hold on. I only got batteries. I need bullets on me to fight them off. My weapon for literally killing them is gone. Jump mechanics are absolute trash. You can't jump. You can jump over that, but you can't jump over that. You could vault over it. Actually, yeah, if you just do this and you can. Oh, you idiot, Wake. Okay, that should mean I'm good to go, I guess. Definitely not good over there. What do I have to do? I can't jump over there. I'm very slow. A small jump. Okay, right. Just see if there's Saint. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, there's something over here. Saint. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm actually stuck. I feel like I could go to up there. Stop it. Come on. Wake, let me up. That thing is literally half the size. If you jump over that, that thing is half the size you just jump. Okay, the game's not allowing me to. This game's taken are filled with darkness. Wait. No. Does that mean that? Definitely not. Ouch. How do I get? What are they doing at this point? I have no idea what's next. There's a crane there. Oh. Ow.
The staircase was broken. I had to make my way up some other way.
Oh, it's out of vision. If I could do that very dramatic scene. Hey, problems.
There was no power. There was bound to be a generator somewhere at the
Maybe
logging
it
site.
needs some more lithium batteries. Oh, that's there. What? This is very different. What am I looking at? There's no way that that's up. Oh, it was correct. There we go. That should be Guten in the Oh, coffee. Gotta get my coffee, am I right? Ow. I stepped on something very solid and spiky. Can I stay here? Shot the gun.
Well, I was just outside for a breath of fresh air, and what a night. I know most of you are probably in your beds by now, but if you're still up and around, take a moment. Step outside for a spell and breathe in deep. The weather is absolutely still. The sky is crystal clear. It's like the forest is quietly breathing along with you. As you listeners know, I'm a night owl, and it's on nights like this I wish I wasn't cooped up in the studio. Makes an old man like me wish I could just roam wild. But here I am, and it would keep you company all night long if I weren't. It looks like I'm not the only one staying up late. Caller, you're on here.
This could help.
At first, I kept finding the pages as if by accident.
Oh, crap.
The book I couldn't remember was either a terrible and true prophecy or an act of creation that had rewritten the world. I began to hunt the pages feverishly, for they held the answer to the mystery. With it, I could save myself. With it, I could save Alice.
I swear to God, if this is a jump scare. I'm very wrong. This game still uses jump scares. But man,
The gas station was closer now, its light welcoming in the darkness.
Paul makes the best dogs in the state. Belly Burster is the best with no contest. Monster Dog is second best. The famous dog is...
Where did I start? Ah! Why did I start? That was very dumb. The action in this game is simple, but it's creepy. They did that well. My heart is beating like a mother trucker.
I stepped into the gas station's garage. It was dark and quiet. The place was a mess. It looked like someone trashed the place or that there'd been some kind of fight. Light spilled into the room through an open door at the back, and I made my way toward it. Without any warning, I was blinded by a bright light. An old portable TV on the shelf had come alive by itself. Impossibly, I could see myself on the screen, talking like a madman.
Okay, so these pages are predicting like what's gonna happen in the future from this mind tape. Can I have a cutscene with dialogue again, please? I'm not liking this. I'm actually not. Like, it's kind of obvious that I'm terrified as hell by this right now. I'm gonna have to finish this game. And if this game does not have a game mode setting, I am gonna cry because I want to break. Oh yes. What am I gonna do with a flare gun? Are you telling me that I should shoot it right now? Alright. Oh. Screw it.
Salad, though. A man like me needs a hefty meal. this?
Sir, I think. Are you okay, sir? I think I might be the type
Enjoy the magnificent.
Okay. Those guys are not the same as the ones that I just fought. They're more on the fast side, but easy to kill.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? She asked. The sheriff looked at me suspiciously. The early morning light flooded through the office windows. I would probably never have gotten out of the woods alive without her help. But I couldn't tell her the truth of what I'd faced the previous night. She'd think I was lying or crazy. She'd lock me up, and she wouldn't help me find Alice.
Oh, shotgun. Rocket. Ow! I nearly cramped that leg. Wait a minute.
Science. It bestows immortality on those who advance it to elevate all of mankind. Newton,
No, I don't want this.
Einstein, Sagan, princes among men.
Taking a smartphone to working is not as simple and tricky as you might think. It can be dangerous. It requires patience.
Oh crap. Oh.
No. Even with the engine takes hours to cool. Cool. Bounce isn't easy and fatal. Down before and after. This place cool gotten inside the engine has destroyed every car. Professional!
Are you okay, sir? Is it that time of the month? I just buzzed the shotgun, huh?
Stucky's body vanished, leaving behind only a lifetime of nightmares to come. Assuming I'd reach the lights of the gas station alive.
Yes. I could be playing Dota 2 right now, getting so much of a wire, but I'm stuck here, playing in a park room for 0 viewers. Absolutely 0 viewers. I made it. Please give me a break. Give me a cutscene full of dialogue. I don't care. Give me anything.
I recognized the parade float I had seen in Bright Falls when I first arrived with Alice.
How do I go? I know this game was scary, but I didn't expect it to be this scary.
After the insanity I had just experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting, at least for a moment. The sane world reasserted
come
itself.
on.
The garage was a mess. It looked like someone had trashed the place, or that there'd been some kind of fight.
I'll keep writing. Outside, there's only darkness. Outside the cabin, outside the story, there's only darkness. I can feel her presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume in the room. I'll reach her. I'll fix it up. I'll bring her back. The story will come true. If I stop, she's lost.
like it in the start, neither do I now. There's no phone. What is that?
Stucky spat on the garage floor and tried to shake the cobwebs from his head. Ever since the couple never showed to pick up the keys, things had been fuzzy. Something, a feeling caught his attention. Stucky looked up and stared as his brain tried in vain to process the horror before him. He stumbled back, knocking over a can of oil. A black pool spread across the floor while he struggled for a brief moment, then let go as the unrelenting darkness engulfed him.
Is that what happens to Stucky?
I had to get inside the gas station to find a phone to call for help. The Deer Fest had been 2 weeks away when we arrived. If the day count on the banner was right, I was missing a whole week between the night we got here and now.
Sorry, I'm too focused on this horror game that I'm actually ignoring everything else. Please. Please.
Great Falls Sheriff Station.
Yes. Yes! Yes. Yes. I'm giving a break.
Thank God, Sheriff.
Sheriff Sarah Breaker, you are...
I'm Alan Wake, but listen, I was in a car crash. My wife, Alice, she's missing.
Calm down, Mr. Wake.
We were staying in a cabin on the island, on Cauldron Lake.
There's no island on Cauldron Lake, not since the big eruption in the 70s.
Please, I can take you there, okay?
You look like you've taken a pretty bad knock to the head.
Oh, now that starts taking effect.
Are you okay?
Listen.
We'll figure this out. Please get in the car. We'll swing by the lake and then we'll go to the station, okay? Mr. Wake, have you seen Stucky, the guy who owns this place?
I realized I couldn't tell her what had happened in the forest. She wouldn't have believed me. And then she wouldn't have helped me with Alice.
Candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night, and just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep.
Previously on Alan Wake. I came to Bright Falls with my wife, Alice.
Thank you for coming here with me. I thought maybe you could write here.
I don't want to hear it! God damn it, Alice! Now, she's missing.
Alice? Alice?
I woke up behind the wheel of a crashed car. I'm missing a week. I was attacked by shadowy men straight from a nightmare. The sheriff took me to the lake Alice and I had stayed at. But the cabin had disappeared.
New York City, where Spider-Man was born. Jason Bourne. Honey, where are the kids?
Honey, I'm home.
Back here, sweetie.
Oh.
How was it?
Worst weather I've ever seen.
You should put some coffee on. It'll warm you up. Hey, handsome. This is gonna be a long night, but these shots are turning out great.
I guess you're gonna need that coffee then. I'll go put it on.
It's a very strong night. This is a storm. Honey, I shrank the kids.
Coffee's on.
Great, thanks. I'll need it if I'm gonna finish this by tomorrow. Oh, hey, I just finished those cover mock-ups. They're on your desk. Tell me what you think.
No kidding. I didn't think you'd get them done this quickly.
On occasion, I can perform all sorts of miracles, my dear.
Oh, really?
Well, you seemed to think so last night.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, okay, that was...
It's true
Wait,
what
no,
they say.
no.
It's true what they say about the fall and the sudden stop at the end. I'd lain here in the snow while the lurid chain of scenes that had led me here kept playing in my head. A rerun of my own private snuff movie. A memory of my corpse. Alone at my own wake. Thinking in metaphors again. The femme fatale was gone. Only a sour taste remained of the kiss that killed me. This was a late goodbye. 13 years after I'd gotten my revenge, it had finally caught up with me. It had been a long time to bear the pain. My blood painted the snow red, a gruesome slushy, dissolved all the scattered painkillers and leisurely dripped down to the sewer, mingling with the bile of the city, becoming one with it. I can see them now, my wife and my baby. Honey, I'm home.
Honey, I'm home. I don't know any type of sitcom.
These look really good.
Oh, sure, until Barry gets his hands on them. Which, by the way, will happen over my dead body. The last time was the last time. Oh, and speaking of Barry, he called. Alan! Alan! Please check the fuse box!
I'm right here. I'm on it, honey.
Please hurry!
Honey, it's a power outage. I've got the flashlight.
Hi, okay.
You okay?
I'm sorry. It just really spooked me.
Don't worry. We'll just break out the candles.
I know it's stupid, but it's just... especially when I'm not prepared.
She's so
It gets to me.
I love you.
Tell me a story, writer.
Okay.
Watch
I used to have these night...
watch a man. Oh, crap. His man. Oh, his man was Alex Wake. He liked to write names for stories. And he got a good story. The end.
There's when I was a kid. The dark really spooked me, too. When it got really bad, my mom gave me this old light switch. She called it the clicker.
The clicker,
The clap-on.
Yeah. If I ever got scared of the dark, I could just flip the switch and a magic light would scare the monsters away.
Oh, sure.
Here it is.
Alan.
Maybe it'll help you, too.
Yeah, nice story, writer boy. You made that up right now, didn't you?
No. Seriously.
I love you, even if you are a liar. Thanks for
jerk.
this.
A hypocrite. But obesely, look at how fat she is. Look at that, she's so obese.
How do you feel, Mr. Wake? Any nausea, disorientation, anything like that? Mr. Wake, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. My head's fine. I had to lie about my headache and memory loss. He'd send me to a hospital for tests. I couldn't leave without Alice.
Very well. I don't think you have a concussion, but you've obviously been through quite a shock. You should take it easy for a couple of days.
Thanks.
Well then, Mr. Wake, we're done here.
Daylight.
If the pain gets any worse or you experience any other symptoms, you should come see me. I'll let you get on with it then. Sarah, Sheriff Breaker, is waiting for you. She's very good at her job. I'm sure she can locate your wife in no time.
I cannot locate your wife in no time. And man's liar, a creep, and a pedophile. Too far.
Come in, Mr. Wake. Your phone's on the desk. The battery was dead. It's charged now.
I feel like there's much.
Have you started looking for my wife yet?
My men are already on it. Now, can you tell me what happened?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. We were arguing. I walked out of the cabin.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake? How did you end up at Stucky's gas station?
I wanted to tell her what had happened last night, but I couldn't. She'd lock me up. Excuse me. I need to take this. Hello?
Alan, please help me.
Alice?
Stop talking to the law. You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife again.
Who is this?
Go to the back lot. There's a hole in the fence on the left. Look inside the junker. I left a little stuff in there to convince you we're all on the same page here. After you ditch the cops, you're gonna meet me in Elderwood National Park.
Mr. Wake, can I help you with anything?
Midnight. Don't do nothing stupid, pal. We're watching you.
I need to get some air. The sheriff said I could go out back.
Of course, Mr. Wake. You can get there through the silk
I couldn't go anywhere yet. I had to play along with the caller. Alice's life was at stake.
I thought he quit drinking for good.
Oh, no such luck. He went on a bender and beat Danny pretty badly. He started
The early morning light hurt my eyes and made my head ache. The man on the phone had said, go through the fence on the left.
Thank you. Hey, you're all right. You're a good guy. Don't let anybody tell you different. You know, I shouldn't even be in here. The cops, they got it all wrong. See? Sure, I beat him up, but I was
The caller had told me to find a hole in the fence behind the police station. There was something for me in an abandoned car.
Coffee. Ah, some far as a dead goal. Sorry.
The kidnapper fired his gun one last time, and the shadow vanished into the darkness it had come from. See? Nothing to it, Wake. The thought of Alice in his hands was revolting. We stood on the wooden platform of Lover's Peak, the waterfall in the mountain behind us, the lights of the radio mast blinking red in the heights above. I fought with the urge to take a swing, force myself to speak. Let's cut. Alice's driver's license had been placed on the front seat. The caller meant business.
Barry?
Ow! Ow! Thank God! Where the hell have you been? I've been trying to reach you for a week, you and Alice. Oh, I've been worried sick. I flew out yesterday. I'm here in Bright Falls.
Barry, listen to me. I'm at the sheriff's station. Come and get me. I can't talk now.
Al, what the hell is going on?
I had to get the sheriff to let me go. I needed to get to Elderwood National Park to meet Alice's kidnappers.
A writer is a light that reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
Marvelous, Sarah. I just wanted to settle all the damage the Anderson brothers might have inadvertently caused on their...
Are you feeling any better, Mr. Wake?
I'd like to leave. Am I free to go?
Well, we still need to talk about...
Am I under arrest?
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite you to stay at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something up with her?
I invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
Oh, hey! Oh, my! Take it easy.
Hey, nobody move! Get your hands off of my client!
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler, his agent. If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me. You yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
No harm done, Sarah. I'm all right. I don't want to press charges. Mr. Wake, my offer still stands.
Get me out of here.
Barry seems to be the only guy
What the hell was that about, Al? We don't need a replay of that thing with the paparazzi. I thought they were gonna lock you up.
Man, Barry's such a much better.
I had to talk to someone. I told Barry everything. He thought I was certifiable, but when he heard about the manuscript, I had him. The fact that I'd written something, even if I couldn't remember it, was enough for him. He smelled money. And he believed that Alice had been kidnapped. Anything beyond that was another story. I had a midnight appointment with the kidnapper in a place called Lover's Peak, somewhere in Elderwood National Park. The plan was to rent a cabin.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
Mr. Wake! Barry, you found him!
Hi, Rose.
Oh, wow. I was just thinking about you, too.
Great.
I was just bringing Rusty some coffee. He's on the balcony, looking after Max. Poor thing. I really need to go. Great to see you again, Mr. Wake. Later!
Who's Max?
What an airhead.
Jeez, Mr. Takes a swing at everybody. This is not her fault. She's a very nice girl.
Wait here.
And, more importantly...
Easy there, boy. I'm almost done.
Hey, Rusty, right? You rent cabins.
Oh, Mr. Wake. I'd shake your hand, but mine are kind of full here.
Can I help?
Actually, I'm sorry about this. Would you mind grabbing the registration form from the desk? It's just across from Bucktooth Charlie.
Okay, sure.
Seriously, Al, what you were saying in the car, just listen to yourself. What, you shot a guy and his body just disappeared? When was the last time you slept? What, are you high? Have you been drinking?
No! Look, Barry, I'm missing a week, and someone's got Alice, and everything's just...
There you go.
I think this is the form you wanted.
And here are the keys. Okay, you're all set, Mr. Wake. Glad to have you staying here.
Thanks. Can you tell me how to get to Lover's Peak?
Oh, sure. It's at the end of the nature trail. Just follow the paths, you'll get to it eventually. It's an easy walk. Nice spot, too. If you have any trouble finding it, just keep your eyes on the radio mast. It's right below that.
Do you understand what it sounds like when you say stuff like that? Don't get me wrong, it's a good story, could be a bestseller. But when you start confusing fiction with reality...
Just cutting him off.
That's just crazy talk, Al. Al? Al? We should go to the sheriff or call the FBI.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her! This is not a goddamn debate, Barry. I'm going to Lover's Peak. He said to come alone.
Okay then. I understand. You're my best friend and I'm worried that you're not right in the head. Tell me what to do to help and I'll do it.
You stay here, and if I'm not back by morning, call the cavalry.
Just be careful with the natives, Al. These yokels are dangerous. Everybody hates a tourist, or it'll be Deliverance all over again. wait here, Al. I'll hold down the fort. I'll be with you in spirit every step of the way, Al. Locking the door now.
Barry had never gotten along with Alice, but he knew Alan loved her with an almost frightening intensity. And now something had happened to Alice. And here was Al armed with a gun and saying things people got put in padded cells for. It was as if his friend had experienced a massive psychotic episode and was now totally disconnected from reality.
Yeah, you can just stop the video when I post this.
I knew I should have gone to the cops. This wasn't the smartest thing I'd ever done, but I was still angry with Barry for trying to talk me out of it. These people had called me right in the sheriff's station. The cops wouldn't scare them, and they had Alice.
Okay, I'll go there. I'm gonna stop reading these. Let's hear it.
The air in the visitor center was heavy with an awful smell, as if some rotten drowned thing had crawled up from its grave. Rusty kept coughing blood. My eyes were drawn to the twisted shape of his broken leg. The attack had been vicious. Max whined in his cage. Rusty's eyes were wild with fear and terror. He gasped. "Mr. Wake, it happened just the way it was on that page."
Crap, I'm missing 2 pages from that.
The vision left me weak. This was
Rusty, hang on! I'm coming! Please, help me!
Help me! Help me! Can you hear me? Anyone! Please help!
Hello?
Back here! I'm back here! Hey, please! Mr. Wake?
Oh, hell.
It happened just the way it was on that page. I found. Came true. It knew. So dark. It'll come back for me. You must. The lights. In the office. I have the key.
Okay, Rusty. Hang on. I'll be right back. Whatever did this couldn't be far. Rusty had found a page from the manuscript. It would help me understand what had happened.
That's...
The only way to make sure that Rusty was safe was to get the power running and the lights back on.
He's gonna die. I just left him to die.
At the last instant, I changed direction and threw myself down. The axe splintered the trunk of a tree. I stumbled into the pool of bright light. My lungs burned. I was too exhausted to move. I tensed as I waited for the killing blow, but it never came. I raised my head. Nothing moved in the darkness beyond. For the moment, bathed in the cold light, too late. Someone had destroyed the circuit breaker. There was no way to get the lights back on.
Rusty! Rusty!
The ground was covered with
hunting licenses.
Please! Hole in the wall.
Don't feed the animals.
Fishing
is only permitted
for those visitors who purchase a park
fishing
license. Obey
the park ranger's instructions
at all times.
Rusty? Rusty, no!
Never!
Approach closer than 100 yards.
To bears and wolves, never approach any other wildlife closer than
25 yards.
Pets must be leashed.
At all times.
Never leave your pet
unattended.
It is
against the law
to remove any
natural objects
or historical artifacts from the park
grounds.
This includes even simple berries.
Sir.
Seriously, how the hell do I get out? Okay. Seriously, okay, I'm serious. How do I get out of here? Coffee. Okay, my stomach. It's actually big. Hello?
What the hell was that? I saw it from the window. I saw something.
Forget about it, Barry. It's just me going crazy.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. You're not crazy. I wish you were crazy, but you're not crazy. Al, be careful.
Stay in the cabin. Don't open the door for anyone. I mean it.
Beer, Max. It's exactly.
In that last instant of consciousness, Rusty thought about Rose. He was older than she was. Rose was barely out of her teens, but she made him feel young. And forget what a train wreck his long-dead marriage had been. He still wore the ring. He'd been waiting for her to tell him to take it off. Now she never would.
Disgusting. Torpedo. Disgusting.
Lover's Peak was at the far end of the nature trail.
Oh crap. Okay, this is actually really freaky. Like, oh my god. This isn't Lover's Park, are you kidding me? I thought this was Lover's Park. Peak, not park. Wait a minute, I just realized something. Please tell me that's Lover's Peak. Oh my god. I was wondering why I couldn't move, and then I figured it out, and I got hit. Oh no, screw it.
I turned the corner, afraid of what the flashlight's beam might reveal. Suddenly, a roughly painted symbol of a torch glowed in the light. Behind it, hidden by a rock, sat a battered metal trunk. It was here for a reason. Packed with supplies, batteries, flares, ammo. Things you need to make it through the darkness of the night. Something left behind by someone who knew what I knew, and more.
Lover's Peak. Alright, Lover's Peak should be ready. There.
Agent Nightingale didn't want to be in Bright Falls. These little communities revolted him, and he didn't like the trees or the coffee. He now knew that impossible horrors lurked behind the storefronts and smiles. He desperately wanted to turn the car around and just drive until he passed out or ran out of road and booze. But he had a job to do. He had a rider to catch, at any cost.
Oh crap, he's after me. Please don't tell me.
Shit.
Come on, we gotta get moving. More of them coming. That flashlight's kid stuff. The flares will keep the bastards away.
You can see them too?
Hell, of course I see them. Come on, we gotta move.
Why?
Because that's the way the story goes.
Yeah, but...
Let's move!
I lost my gun back there.
Oh, I've got a gun. Just keep that light steady on him.
It took a moment, but then I recognized him. He'd been on the ferry when I first arrived here with Alice. He knew my name. We were headed in the direction of Lover's Peak. There was no way this was a coincidence. He was the kidnapper.
Come on, Wake! Better keep up. Hear that? It's them.
You're complaining about these guys. I have to fight this
Get some! That's right! Lover's Peak. Right up these stairs, Wake.
I mean, I'm happy
Use the flares from the emergency box to hold them off while I get these boards off.
Give me the gun.
Yeah, no can do, Wake.
Are you kidding? Give me the gun!
No time for back talk. Hold them off, damn it! longer! Scare them off! Get some light on those bastards! That'll keep them off us! Just a little longer, I almost got it! Okay, it's open. Move it or lose it! Die already, die! Come on! Only sissies are afraid of the dark. Better get ready. They'll be on us soon. This is it, Wake. The last stand. There's more flares here. Get ready. We fight them as long as they keep coming.
Give me the goddamn gun! They're coming!
That's not how this goes. Get with the program, Wake. Stop moving! That's what I got for you! Piece of cake, Wake. Stop fighting me! Like that, boy! Bring it! Get some! That's right! You just be coming! See? Nothing to it.
Let's cut the act now. Where's my wife?
I knew you were gonna say that. I read it all before. You're a hell of a writer. Congratulations. You're gonna bring about something glorious and terrible once we get you some proper editorial control.
What the hell are you talking about?
What the?
Where's Alice?
I want the entire manuscript, or she's gonna suffer bad.
You touch her mouth.
Take the gun. Oh my god, I feel worried, but
You're gonna give me the manuscript, or you'll be sorry.
No! Come back here! I swear I'll kill you if you hurt Alice! Do you hear me? Come back here!
there's a manuscript right here, fam.
On more than one occasion, Alice had tried to explain to me how it felt to be afraid of the dark. To her, darkness wasn't simply the absence of light, but something more tangible than that. It was something you could touch and feel. Worse than that, it was something with a mind of its own, something malicious and malign. For her, things changed when they were wrapped in darkness. They turned into something else, something foreign, and nothing was safe or innocent anymore. I'd never really understood what she meant. He had Alice, and he wanted the manuscript because he thought it held some magical power, but I had no manuscript to give him. I had to get back to Barry and figure out my next move. The night had been one desperate situation after another. I was exhausted, and my body felt as though it had been chewed up and spat out. The flashlight was heavy in my hand, and each pull of the trigger sent a painful shock up my arm. But I was finally out of the woods, and things were looking up. That's when I heard the chainsaw.
Oh, come on.
I had heard the plane fall. It made no sense. It was clear that it had just fallen here. It was very old and obviously hadn't flown in decades. Looking at it sent a shiver through my spine.
No, I'm good, I'm good. Holy crap. Okay, am I giving it a break now? Yes. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, there are some moments where I wish I wasn't a gamer. And I never ever touched a video game in my life. That moment is now. I'm gonna fight a guy with a chainsaw and a hacking bell.
The logging site was a mess. The modular office had been pushed off the cliff. Deputy Thornton climbed up from the wreckage excited.
I missed a decent amount of pages. What? What? When?
When Barry saw the darkness attack the visitor center, it made him a believer. The men Al said he'd shot, they hadn't been just locals on crank. Somehow the world had changed, like the channel had been switched without warning. You think you're watching a sitcom, and you're really watching a horror show. When the birds started attacking the cabin, Barry wasn't surprised, just terrified.
Crap. Barry's under attack.
Beware of Widowmakers!
If this happens to me, I'll just pull the trigger on myself. Screw that. Screw my wife. Who needs a wife?
Shadows stirred and the wind picked up as I ran through the forest. I felt the dark presence turning its gaze toward me. Then the moonlight was blotted out by dark shadows that raced violently across the ground, moving too swiftly to be natural. Darkness gathered between the trees and melted again to reveal the Taken. No natural path had brought them here.
Wait, was I recording this? Okay, I thought I wasn't recording this. Come on. But it's gonna be a pain in the butt. You have to aim for the weaker ones and then aim for him last. He's kind of tankers, you don't want to tank. If he does, he's gonna. I don't like this anymore.
Hazardous occupation.
This guy can't be purified just by normal standards. Oh, this is a hunting rifle. I'll use this first. Please. Bears.
Barry?
Ow! The porch is covered with birds, and they've
Stay out of sight. I'm on my way. Don't open the door.
What am I, crazy?
Stay hidden. I'll be there soon. Just make sure you keep the lights on. I still had to reach Barry at the cabin. But at least I was out of the woods. I'd have to get the car from the locked garage. It would get me back to Barry faster, and the headlights were a welcome bonus.
This is complete bullcrap. I don't like this game. It's fun, but I don't like it.
The FBI agent's command froze me in place. I considered surrender. It was all falling apart anyway. I could give in, let someone else deal with it, but it felt all wrong. Call it instinct, his posture, the way he held the gun. He was no friend. Shots ringing in my ears, I leaped for the hole in the fence and stumbled into the darkness beyond.
This is bullcrap. This is absolute bullcrap. Like, see what this game is trying to do, but second.
A story is not a machine that does what you tell it. A story is a beast with a life of its own. You can create it, shape it, but as the story grows, it starts wanting things of its own. Change one thing and you set off a chain reaction of events that spreads through the whole thing. The characters have to be true to themselves. The events need to follow a logic that fits the story. A single flaw and the magic is gone. The story dies. Alice dies.
You can learn about nature and yourself.
I think I figured out what happened in the 1 week jump. Alan was for an entire week making that story with the thing, talking about how Alice is gone and oh, I'm actually driving.
The flare gun was probably the best weapon I could imagine against the dark things I was facing.
Yeah, no. Ow. Holy crap, it's actually really strong. Oh, thank you, Light.
It was the kidnapper.
You son of a bitch! Where's my wife?
Enough horseplay, Wake. You deliver the manuscript, and you can have your woman back. Simple as that.
I don't... Listen. I'm gonna need time to finish it. I still need to write the ending. I need a week.
Not done?
I need a week.
2 days. The old Bright Falls coal mine is nearby. You can find it easy, city boy. The main building, there at noon. You bring the manuscript, you'll get your wife. If not, well, get me.
Yes, I get you.
Welcome back to the show, folks. As promised, our very own Dr. Nelson has just parked his rear end in the studio. Doc, what's your DeerFest plan like?
My plan? You make it sound a lot more organized than I ever seem to manage. Oh, no plan.
Barry had talked about birds over the phone.
Al! Al, I am so glad you're here. A couple of them got in here before I blocked the chimney. This isn't normal. These birds are weird. I thought the pigeons back home were bad. Al, make them go away, please. Is that I'm not a worship the birds. Oh, crap.
We good? We're not good. You're not good. We are not good. I'm out of bullets. I've spent everything. I'm out of flares. I'm out of flare gun ammo. We good. Alright, we good with that part.
Barry, you can open the door now.
Oh, there was a
They're
flare
gone.
gun bullet here.
Hey, Al. I'm sorry for thinking you were having a psychotic episode, man.
I sent Barry to the town to ask around about a man fitting the kidnapper's description. He'd go through the archives of the local paper. Perhaps he could learn something. Anything about the island and the cabin that had disappeared. The man wanted a manuscript. I had to try to write him one to get Alice back. For me, the supernatural had always been nothing but a metaphor for the human psyche, a tool to use in writing fiction. Now, it was happening for real, and I couldn't put a single word on paper.
Charging battery.
Barry Wheeler speaking.
This is Rose.
Rose?
I found Mr. Wake's pages.
Oh, you sweet, brilliant girl.
Could you and Mr. Wake come get them? I live in the trailer park outside the town.
We'll be there in less than an hour.
Bye now.
See you soon.
Have a great day. Hope you come back soon. Welcome to the Old Dear
Diner.
Good.
Yeah, there's something up just by the way she spoke.
Come here. Pretty please.
And what a way to end it. Okay, so to the people who have not, who are unable and kind of retarded, and did not catch on, this episode of, this is Alan Wake, was Alan Wake. We have, gone through two chapters, and oh, what a pain. Okay. Man. That was fun. That was very fun. That's one that was fun. Alan Wake, everybody. Episode 1 and 2. I will continue this. I will. Episode 1 and 2. Just paramedic. What a way to end it. Basically, we're gonna have a small recap every time we finish 2 episodes. So, what happened was Alan Wake, after going to a cabin with his wife, the wife goes missing, she is suppressed, and he's waken up in a house, in a car, actually. In a car accident, he finds a flashlight, light helps him, he gets to a station, and he's brought back to normal society. His, as a replacement, Barry's there. Kind of only good voice actor, in my opinion. Goes in to find the kidnapper, does find him, goes back, ends up having to go back, fighting a bunch of birds. Black Lake Red. Barry comes back, believes him, and they contact Rose, who's a diner girl there. They figure something, and now they might be in a bit of a sticky situation. They might be in a trap. And because Rose is currently in control, and but Alan does have that gun. Not to mention this time it's Barry, so I'll be streaming soon. I'll figure out when I'll stream, but I'm not sure. So yes, this was Alan Wake, episode 1 and 2, everybody. I will be uploading this on YouTube. If anybody is watching this and feels like they want to watch it not live, and I will also try to make an edited version of this. Yes, that was Alan. Goodbye and thank you. I wasn't